we're going to take that same while loop and user input and build a guessing game. And in order to do that, you're going to have to learn your next flow control statement, which is if. If allows you to conditionally do some code, and you can also throw in an else and do something if that if wasn't true. Now the statements around the if are logical statements, so they need to evaluate to true or false. And in Python they call it truthy or falsy because there's some things that will evaluate true or false depending on what you put there. But we're going to start with the simple stuff. Let's talk about this from random import random. It's the first time we've brought in any functionality that wasn't just a keyword that we could use right away without doing anything. Now Python is what they call batteries included, meaning they have a ton of functionality, but you have to import that functionality because you may not need those functions, or you may have written your own function to do this certain stuff. So the way they organize it is with modules, and you import what you want from the modules. So this statement reads from random, so we're going to the random module, and if you Google Python random documentation, you will get a whole lot of different random functions. And the one that we want is randint because it's going to allow us to get a random integer. But a lot of getting better at this is reading the documentation and learning about the functionality that you can include without having to write your own code. Now, as you're a beginner, this can be pretty overwhelming, so don't worry about it just yet, but start to get comfortable looking. Okay, there's a random module and it has a bunch of functions in it, and these functions do this, that, and the other, and you'll start to broaden out your knowledge about what you can do with the Python language. You can have a lot of fun with random numbers because it allows you to build all kind of conditional games. I mean, we would build all kinds of D&D takeoffs with this when I was a kid programming. But from random, import randint, and we're simply going to call randint, and it has two parameters, and it's the lowest number and the highest number, and it will draw a random integer starting between 1 and 10 and evenly spread that out. So each number has an equal chance. We're going to store that in num. Now we're pulling back that same while true and grabbing user input. We're going to say guess a number between 1 and 10, and we're going to throw that into the guess variable. Try, we're going to try to convert it to an integer, and we do that except value error down here and says, hey, if you didn't put in a number, we can't do anything, and it'll ask you again. But if you do have a number, here's the new part. If, and then in parentheses, you put your logical condition here, and it's guess equal, but it's two equals. If you do one equal, it will do assignment and it won't work. Now it'll throw an error because the interpreter is smart enough to know that, hey, something's wrong here, but it's a double equal to do this logical comparison. And if guess is equal to number, then you're going to do this first block of code here, and we're going to print out you guess the number. There's no point in continuing to ask the user once they get it right, so you break, else, colon, and notice there's a colon on both of these, and then you have an indent like you do with any flow control. You're creating a block of code here that's offset to let Python know that these statements right here go with if it's true, else, meaning it was false, you say the wrong number, the number was not whatever they guessed using your F strings here. What you should do is stop this video and go and try to build this program. And you can take some of the code you've already written, but don't copy down watching the screen. Try to recreate this using your memory around if and flow control here, and learn to get comfortable doing an if statement on your own and kind of modifying your code. I mean, many times when I go to do something new, I will grab an old piece of code, but then I start modifying it and making it new and building the new part of it. So the new part of this is not that we're going to get two things. You're going to use random int to build, to roll the dice and get a number, and then you're going to use an if statement to see if they got the right number. Now, this guessing game is pretty frustrating. I mean, you can see here, oh man, I'm just guessing one after another. It's not really fun, to be honest. So in the next lesson, we're going to show you how to do the high-low part of this using less than and equal than, which are other logical conditions you can put in your if statement to test things. Now, if you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe. I'm going to come out with many videos, some of them beginner, some of them advanced. Everyone will learn something. Smash that like button so I can help more people, and I'll see you in the next one.